All praises, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Honors to the elders of GMS. All right, and salutations to you Akim out there on the four corners of the earth that are pushing this truth and sincerity, risking your life and your freedom to do so. Shalom. All right, just going to go to a quick lesson. I got two Bibles in front of me. Actually, continuation of the Spirit jumped on me to do the thing about the PhD scholars lie, and they do. The so-called white man who was Esau Edom is a liar. He can't help but lie. It's like a snake that can't. There's a story about a scorpion that rides on a turtle across the water, and the turtle. And I've heard the same story told with a frog, but it's the same anywhere it be a frog and a turtle. I'm Salaki, whether it's a scorpion or a frog, a scorpion or a turtle, either way, the scorpion being that serpent-like beast is representation of Esau. Anyway, make it real fast. The story goes that let's say the frog is approached by the scorpion to take him across the river or the stream or whatever you want to call it, and the turtle, the frog is like, I won't take you because you're gonna sting me. But this creepy crawly thing, like a snake, it says, well, why would I do that? We will both drown. So I guess the frog's like, oh, okay, like Jake, and he gave the scorpion a ride, and they're making their way across the water to the other side, and all of a sudden, when they get to the middle of the water, the frog feels this sharp pain in his back. And then all of a sudden, he starts to, fade, and they're both starting to go under. He's starting to drown. And he said, why would you do this to us? You've killed us both. And basically, he was like, I couldn't help myself, for it is my nature. And the nature of the so-called white man is to be a liar, man. So with that, I'm going to go right into this quick lesson. I'm going to try and make it fast. I showed this Bible in my last lesson, but this is Nelson's King James. All right, Nelson. Let's put that up so you can see it. All right, the Nelson King James, and they have these overviews in the beginning of every chapter. So we're going to go into the book of Obadiah. Okay, and just expose Edomite lies. Okay, it says, a struggle that began in the womb between twin brothers, Esau and Jacob, eventuates in a struggle between their prospective descendants. So that means their children. So the children that came from them are in a struggle still unto this day. All right. It says the Edomites and the Israelites. For the Edomites' stubborn refusal to aid Israel first during the time of the wilderness, so that's giving you one account, and that's Numbers, the 20th chapter, around 14th verse. And later during the time of invasion, all right, when they were getting taken down and getting taken into captivity, when they were sacking Jerusalem, all right. They are roundly condemned by Obadiah. No, they're condemned by the Most High. Okay, they're condemned by Yahweh himself. The little known prophet describes their crimes, tries their case, and pronounces their judgment total destruction. All right. The Hebrew name Obadiah, all right, means worshiper of Yah. They can have Yahweh written here. See, they can't even give you the true name. Like when the so-called white man tells you the truth, he tells you a lie right behind it. That's why people are so confused. And you got to remember, the so-called white man knows that he is Edom. Okay? At this point, okay, we do not have to prove that we're the Israelites anymore. The evidence is overwhelming. All right? Just because they choose to ignore it because they have power over the mainstream media. All right? What they cannot do, they cannot disprove that they're not Edom, because they can't. All right? And all the things I'm going to read is going to further prove that fact for anyone who might have any doubt. All right? It says a worshiper of Yahweh or a servant of Yahweh. The Greek title in the Septuagint, Obadiah, The Latin title in the Vulgate, Abadias, okay, which in all those other translations, they're able to twist and mangle. All right, so I'm going to get a couple scriptures to solidify that, because the reason why it's little known about the prophet Obadiah, because churches don't really teach about him, because they want to take the message away from Edom. They don't want the churches in America and around the world, especially here in America, are under 501c3 501c. All right, that particular thing that they're under. One of the limitations that they're given is that they can't teach nationality or race according to the Bible. Okay, so let's start first in the book of Obadiah. This is Obadiah. I'm going to read verse 18. This is a future prophecy, because this hasn't happened to the so-called white man. All right, okay, because according to the prophecies, they are the wicked, and the wicked will be ruling when the Lord comes back. So who's ruling the earth? The so-called white man. Most people will agree that this is the end. So Obadiah 18. The house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh has spoken it. Okay, so the Lord spoken it, man. There's gonna be no more so-called white people, man. That's after they served their slavery for 1,000 years in the kingdom, because they got to serve double what we serve according to the scriptures. All right, next one is Romans. I'm going to go to Romans, the 9th chapter, because when you read this, these so-called Christian people start screaming he hates Esau himself. The biblical scholars just let you know that this was passed on, just like the curses were passed on to Israel's descendants, to his children. The curses of Edom was passed on to his children. So it's not just him, it's his children. We're talking about one race against another, man. Deuteronomy 76, man. All right. Deuteronomy 32 and 8, when he separated the nations. All right. Okay. This is Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. All right. Meaning the Edomites, the whole race, all so-called white people, the Lord hates. All right, so-called, because they're not white, they're red. All right, okay, and then this really isn't a color thing. This is a seed thing, because you got so-called white people who have brown skin because they've intermingled and intermixed. So this isn't about color. This is about nationality, and today society does not understand that, because we have been taught this lie about color. All right, just like you got brown skinned people who are Edomites. Why? Because they got Edomite forefathers. All right, and you got people that's running around pale flesh looking like white people that are really Israelites or other heathens. Why? Because they got brown skinned forefathers, but they happen to look pale fleshed. You look at them, you say, oh, that's a white guy. All right, but you don't know his family history. All right, from his father's side, because it's got nothing to do with your mother. That's that Jewish lie, another Edomite lie. Okay. Now I'm going to jump down to Romans 9. I'm going to start the 22-23. Nay, but, O man, who art thou that repliest against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, Why hast thou made me thus? All right. Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel for honor, the Israelites, and one and another to dishonor, the Edomites? What if Yahweh, willing to show his wrath and make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessel of wrath fitted for destruction? All right. All right, and then that's the one fitted for destruction is Edom. We just read it in Obadiah the 18th chapter. 18th verse. And he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, right? Which he hath prepared unto glory. That's why Romans 9 says that the glory what's the glory? The kingdom, the promises, the covenants, is all promised to the adoption, the Israelites being adopted back. You can't be brought back, because that means brought back. You can't be brought back into something you were never a part of, man. So this is also an all-out attack on the lie of John 3:16, because just reading what the scholars wrote in the Bible about Edom. How is John 3? So if you're an Edomite, you're saying that John 3:16 apply to you? The Lord said that the nation of Edom is cut off, man, forever. All right, and I'm about to read it. I'm going to Malachi now. Go to Malachi. This is Malachi 4, start at verse 1. Yeah, okay. Malachi. Oh, sorry. I was reading verse 4. I should have been in verse 1. Chapter 4. But I'm in chapter 1 now. It says, the burden of the word of the Lord the burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, wherein have thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Two main characters in the Bible is Esau and Jacob. All right, but they downplay the Edomites as if they really don't matter. All right, and then they even tell you that they're done away with, but it says that they're the site of future judgment, according to the Bible. Okay, so how is it? And then the Bible also identifies them in the book of Maccabees as the wicked. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right, they had the earth, they got dominion over the earth during the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire was taken down by Negro Israelites, Septimius Severus and his rival Persinius Niger in 193 A.D. was the year of the 5 emperors, and the last man standing, of course, was Septimius Severus, because he ended up killing Persinius Niger, because that's how it's actually pronounced, and got dominion over the Roman Empire, which is basically shortly after. That's when it became the Holy Roman Empire, and the dragon was wounded for 1,000 years. All right, and the dragon is Esau Edom, the so-called white man, and then he came back into power basically around in the 1400s, man. Right, and he started coming in. Yeah, in the 14th century. By 1453, the Renaissance was well on its way. In 1492, they were in their full power because they took down the last Israelite stronghold for the most part, which was the Moors that were in Spain and Portugal. So they took the black men who were ruling, the Israelites who were ruling in Portugal and Spain, who had been ruling there almost 1,000 years, at least since the 6th or 7th century. They got them out of power. And so the so-called white man came back into power. And then that's when they went on the campaign to destroy all the dark images all throughout Europe, all the dark images of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And then they put up Michelangelo and Leonardo da Vinci's Renaissance art. And they used art from the 14th century to try to explain something that happened in the BCs. That happened in 67 BC, 300 BC. They're using Renaissance art to project those. So what was that all about? So-called white supremacy. Okay. Back into the scripture. It says, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom said, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I shall throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. And when you look up that word indignation, it means righteous hatred, man. So he said he's going to hate the Edomites forever. So how does John 3:16 apply to them? Or anybody who's not an Israelite for that matter, when you have understanding? Because you people refuse to look up world. You want it to mean what you want it to mean. All right. And that world is talking about the world of Israel if you do your diligent research. Next scripture. Isaiah. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 34. Let's just read 5 and 6. For my sword. See, that's just it, man. that the so-called white man, why is there a W in the word sword? All right, you're taught to sound out words, but then all of a sudden this one is silent. See, the language is deceitful just as they are. All right, because someone who you just came here from a foreign country and they're taught to sound out words, you would look at it and it should say sword. Like Ptolemy, why does there have to be a P before it? The so-called white man is nothing but confusion. He brings confusion. All right, but it says, "For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon all Idumea." All right, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword shall be filled with blood, and it shall be made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of the rams. And the Lord hath sacrificed in Basra a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. In my book, the Kingdom of the Edomite by William Beeston, 1853, Cambridge scholar, clearly lets you know that the Hebrew Basra was talking about the Idumeans, who were the Romans, the Greeks and the Romans. Further prove that, let's go into the Zondervan's real quick and look up Idumea. All right, it says, you can pause it and read it for yourself. Okay, it says Idumea, Greek and Roman name for Edom. See Edom. So that's you so-called white people, Idumeans. You are Edom. Okay, sucks for you. Okay, this is Isaiah 47, 13 and 14. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers and the stargazers and the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. So using your witchcraft media, your wicked holidays, and your secret ceremonies that you hold, your illuministic witchcrafts, your meeting in the in those groves up in Northern California, you know, praying to Molech. None of that's going to help you, man. Those left-hand side angels who actually work for the Lord are going to stop lying to you. Okay? 14. Behold, they are as stubble. The fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. And there shall not be a coal to warm, or nor a fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even the merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one in his quarter, and none shall save thee. So it's a wrap for you so-called Edomites, man. Let's go back to the Zondervans. We're almost done with this. And let's read about Edom. And I'm going to read the highlighted areas. Okay? It's those highlighted areas. Right there. Okay? This is because Edom's a long definition, but you see the top, it says Edom, the Edomite. So Edom is talking about his people, not just him singularly. The people that came out of Edom. It says, the Edomites rejoiced over the affliction of the Judeans and began to take over the southern part of Palestine. Eventually, they penetrated as far as Hebron. And because you can read about when the Maccabees took Hebron back from them. All right. This action intensified the already smoldering hatred between the Jews and the Edomites. All right. Psalms 137:7, Ezekiel 25:14. Amos 1:11, Obadiah 10 and 14, and those are future prophecies, and the scholars are about to solidify it. So you got these two different Bibles with all these biblical scholars, and then you have this book with all these biblical scholars, and most of them being Jewish. All right, and they're pretty much telling you that the so-called white man is Esau, Edom. All right, and that the prophecies, their destruction hasn't come yet; it's coming now. We're in the midst of it; it's happening. It says, Edom figures prominently in the prophetic scriptures as a scene of great future judgments. See notably Isaiah 34:5, I read that, 63:1. She is the only neighbor of the Israelites who was not giving any promise of mercy from God. So that will make your pastor's John 3:16 a lie. With that, I'm going to say, Shalom.